I think schizophrenia can be hard to deal with sometimes when the depression mixes in. Sometimes it's not a depression mixing in. Sometimes it's just the things of schizophrenia itself, which make you unstable, to keep your feet squarely on the ground, to live in the moment, and to be self-satisfied with how things are going on, and to look at it maturely like that. The schizophrenia takes that away from you. My loss of self-control, when I would look back on it, my loss of self-control in terms of anger coming up, it wasn't normal anger. It was fiery tsunami anger. The number of times I've had suicidal thoughts have been really, I just can't count them all. It's multiple. But there's been times when I put a rifle in my mouth and sat contemplating pulling the trigger. I can't explain my depression where I want to kill myself to people sometimes. It's just, it's completely irrational, but it's so real to me. I was going homeless. David Lawrence Center saw that problem, sent a case manager to work with me. It's worked out well because he got me into this house. The greatest tool that I got in my toolbox is the medication. The Haldol is good for me keeping my feet square on the ground, not to so-called lose it. It's meant a lot to me to have the support I've gotten from the David Lawrence Center, because I know that if I didn't get the support, that I would have been a suicide. I would have been a suicidal statistic.
I ended up pregnant at 19. I had one mood, and it was a very depressed, hopeless, like nothing, you know, and it's just like, this is just the way it is, you know, this is how it is. You know, a lot of people say that alcohol worked for them. It never really worked for me. It never gave me a sense of ease or much of that, but I just know the first time I drank, I you know, like drank a whole bottle of vodka. It was never enough. Anytime that I could, I drank. And anytime that I drank until I got sick, blacked out. I mean, it was never just having a good time socially drinking. Like, I remember my son was like 2 years old, and I was, you know, staying up all night doing coke and then sleeping all day while my son is in the living room playing, and I'm sleeping on the couch like out cold. And I remember waking up one day and he was playing, and I thought, you know, I'm missing a lot here. I'm missing a lot. And went out on this crack bench, and the things that I saw that weekend, I'd never been around before. This girl that I met, she was a prostitute, and she, you know, all she cared about was crack. And I just remember sitting there watching her and thinking to myself, she wasn't always like this. You know, she was just like you, having fun, you know, just dabbling, and now look at her. I knew at that point that that it was done. I was done with this life. You know, something had to give. I didn't know before I got sober that life was something that could be happy and fun and, you know, rewarding. You know, and when I got sober, I was able to see that. I remember the first time he came to visit me when I was in treatment, I just looked at him and I was like, oh my God, he's an angel. David Lawrence Center saved my life. They are truly invested in what they do. They totally guided me and directed me where I needed to go to stay sober.
We first noticed that Joshua had some issues when he was about 4.5 years old. He was very aggressive and in a manner that really wasn't normal for a 4.5-year-old. One of the things we noticed about Joshua's behavior being out of the ordinary or just not normal was when Lauren was born. One time my nephew came over to help me out on a Saturday with the kids, and we were out front in a little kiddie pool. And they were playing ball in the pool, and Joshua threw the ball and it went way outside of the pool and down the yard. So my nephew went to get the ball, and as soon as he turned his back, Joshua saw that as an opportunity to shove his sister's head under the water and hold it there. And we pulled Joshua off of Lauren, and Lauren was gasping for breath, of course. And Joshua just looked like a boy that was determined to get rid of his sister at that moment. How bad did his behaviors get? Well, they got very bad. They got so bad that we feared for our lives. It got bad enough that we removed every sharp object from our home, everything that could impale someone. We took advantage of the Bridges program here at David Lawrence Center. It was like a mini little world right here. Everything that he needed to make him better was right here for him. Some of the neat things that took place while Josh was here is that he learned all about his disorder and how to live with it day to day and how to deal with it. More importantly, he learned a lot of really good techniques on how to deal with his anger. The biggest change I've seen in Joshua over the past couple years since staying at the David Lawrence Center is he believes in Josh. He believes in himself. He knows that he can be somebody someday, and he has all the aspirations to move forward where before he had none.
For over 40 years, the David Lawrence Center has been Collier County's community mental health and substance abuse treatment facility, dedicated to restoring the lives of individuals with persistent mental illness, adults in crisis, and children in need. Each year, approximately 16,000 children and adults access our more than 50 prevention, intervention, and treatment services. We would not exist if it was not for the generosity of the Collier County community, and we cannot sustain our mission without individuals like you. Please support the David Lawrence Center, because we know when we work together, we can achieve remarkable results.